Hello, this is Eric of NotBIOS Tech and Reviews, and in today's video I'll be comparing the Corsair to the Asus Loki in terms of cable length, coil whine, and just some basic details. This is not a review, but more so an overview of both these power supplies to help you decide which one to get. In the description of this video, you'll see more about the Asus Loki, as it's now gone home away. I returned that back and I'm now using this Corsair. Now let's show both these power supplies. Hello, this is Eric of NotBIOS Tech and Reviews, and welcome to my overview of the SF850L. This is not a review, but I'll be checking for coil whine and how that compares to the Asus ROG Loki SFX-L. Now both these power supplies are SFX-L type. In the box we have silica. We also have important information, which contains, well, a bunch of stuff I don't care about. Tie wraps. As for our cables, they are connected together. Unlike the Asus Loki, which is all stranded cable, unlike the Corsair SF750 Platinum, and this is a gold one, but we have cables that are connected and rather than a stringy mess. This power supply may be gold rated, but when it comes down to it, it is Cybernetics power supply rated as platinum efficiency, and the factory that makes it is exactly identical. They're both made from Great Wall. Our power supply, just like the Asus Loki, is a nice hefty cable. Just like the Asus Loki, we do have an SFX to ATX bracket. Bonus. The power supply itself has our information tag right here. And let's give a quick look around. And right here, we see our label for this power supply. And on the back end, we have a little tab here. I'll take a look what that says. Silent operation at low to moderate loads. In this mode, the fan will not spin. For those that are curious about the fan itself. When it comes to Asus ROG Loki, just remember that your RGB is connected to your motherboard or a hub that has a RGB for connection. And not all motherboards have that. My MSI Mystic Lite does happen to have a RGB. Now here we have a cable comparison, and if you're wondering about cable length, here is our maximum length of our Corsair versus our Asus Loki. If you're looking for cable length and you have a big case, you'll be much happier with your Asus Loki, which has very long cables. They're excessively long for my Corsair 2000D. In terms of weight, I think the Corsair is actually a little bit heavier. It feels definitely a little bit heavier, oddly enough, but I think this might be aluminum versus steel. To confirm material types, if this is aluminum, it won't stick. It doesn't, but it does stick to the side. So this here lightens the weight a bit. Now I think the whole entire case of the Corsair is steel all around. Now let's hear the sound of this Corsair power supply, which still has buzz when it's idling, sadly. And that is your coil whine test for the Corsair SF850L. Using an Asus RTX4070 OC in non-OC mode, let's listen to the coil whine of the Asus Loki. So for instance, let's say we have a 4070 with 8-pin connection, which I do, versus a 12-pin connection, or say 2 8-pins or 2 6-pins, for instance. It will make different coil whine by levelizing the load on that one power rail and distribute more of the power. So one thing that these highly efficient power supplies have is less power filtering. You might be paying less money for a less efficient power supply and get less coil whine? Comment below. What's your experience? When comparing install, these cables were a lot more stiff and difficult to deal with. However, these ones catch in fans a lot easier because you can see when you have a mesh holding this together in a round circle like so, which is basically the same as tie wrapping it, or zip tying as you may call it, it's a lot easier to deal with this kind of thing. As you can see, this is quite flexible, even if it was meshed together, while this is a lot stiffer. The Corsair fan is at low speeds not too bad and almost compared to the Asus Loki. Now if you get that fan spinning up, yes, it's going to definitely be much louder than the Asus Loki, and that's why I'm going to mod it to an iCUE in my particular situation. Now let's compare cable length between these two power supplies. We can see here it is the Corsair SF850L, and we can see the cable sizes right here, including plus or minus 10 millimeters because they're not always exact. So we see this here, so that means here to this other half that can extend a little bit further. And here's our total length, plus or minus 10 millimeters. And then here we have the links between the main connector and so forth. Now let's go to the ROG Loki. Here's the motherboard cable connector. And then we have some longer ones that you can see here, 550 millimeters, 450, 450, 450, 600 millimeters. That's much longer than the Corsair, much longer and much longer. That's huge, this addressable RGB cable. As I mentioned, it connects to an ARGB connection as well though as Aurora Zinc that connects to Asus motherboards. So we can see that here. So it's compatible with Aurora Zinc. Corsair has a 7-year warranty, while the Asus ROG Loki has a 10-year warranty. Ask your questions below so I can at least be of assistance for you. This is Eric of NotBIOS Tech and Reviews. Thanks for watching and have yourselves a most wonderful day.